Hello and welcome. We're going to be taking a grounding flow today. It's a wonderful thing to do if you are feeling disconnected from your body, if you have a lot on your mind and you just need a break from the thoughts or the feelings. You can come present in yourself. And it's a really nice thing to do in the transitional space between seasons. So if you have a yoga block, you might want to grab it. If you don't, no worries. A blanket or a towel serves as a really nice alternative. That's actually what I'm going to be using. We'll get started in a hero's pose. So I'm going to take my towel, fold it up really nice and tight like it was a block, place it between my heels and have a seat. So I like heroes propped up because you still get this wonderful shin and ankle stretch, but without too much intensity. You can sit on your heels if that works for your body, or you can sit between them if that works for your knees. This is my preference. And even with props, if it isn't accessible in your body, sitting in easy seat is a wonderful alternative. So we get into our heroes. We want to, again, make sure the shins, the ankles, the knees feel good and safe, maybe getting a light stretch. The ultimate grounding is really just scanning and getting present in your body. If your thoughts are on something very tangible, they're not going to be going off into other places, thinking about other things. So you might start with, how do my legs feel in this stretch? This is kind of unusual to have the tops of our feet and our shins against something solid. Notice the sensation, the contact points. Feel your seat settle in. And from there we can move our way up the spine. Our lower back is also considered part of our root system. And even if it wasn't a point of focus, I like to, on exhale, really engage the core, like I'm pulling belly button to spine. And you'll notice how it feels in your back, how it almost stretches it, supports it, this good core connection. And we bring that lift all the way up to the crown of our head, feeling the vertebra of our neck stack. And when you have that structure in place, it can be a little more easy to relax the shoulders and the jaw. So we're inhaling, breathing ourselves up tall. And exhaling, feeling shoulders, face soften and release. Connecting with our bodies, the sensation of the pose. Connecting with our bodies by making ourselves more comfortable within this position. And connecting body to breath by inhaling, bringing ourselves up taller, and exhaling, release across the muscles. So another inhale, breathe yourself up tall. Exhale, settle in. And then we will tip ourselves into table. I'm going to get rid of my towel. How do your ankles feel? We're going to lightly turn our toes under. Just start to stretch out our arches. And then we'll flip our feet back over. And give our fingers a little turn to our knees. Put a little gentle stretch in our wrists. And then let's come back over. This time when we curl our toes under to stretch out our arches, we'll walk our hands back. Everyone's going to land somewhere different, right? You might walk all the way back, hands up on legs if that feels good for your feet, or you might be, if you don't stretch your feet often, a little further up. Our feet are a huge source of balance, if you're a standing person, of course. So we want our toes open, we want our arches open, because if we don't have good blood flow to the feet, our balance is going to be compromised. So let's take a little tip forward, uncurl. I like to tap out the feet, really just kind of get the blood flow going here. We'll ground our hands, connect to the tops of our feet, and when I say ground hands, we mean thumb and index, with the fingertips acting as secondary points of contact, soft elbows, just some cats and cows, warm up the spine. Inhale's lifting us up. Exhale's arcing the spine. Inhale to swoop yourself up, lifting tailbone, lifting chin. Exhale, you find the core control, pulling that sensation of belly button pulling to spine, big stretch across the shoulders. Connecting breath to movement, to body. Again, a really good way to find presence within ourselves. To put ourselves in the moment of body and breath. And get out of our thoughts. So let's take one more. And come to neutral. And give our toes a little curl under, our seat a lift. We're finding our downward facing dog, and we're taking some nice pedals and bringing the stretch up into our calf muscles. So a really good way to check in on your downward facing dog is to exhale, lower your hips, and see if you can go into a high plank. I have to walk my hands out about an inch. So now when I lift my seat back up, I've got that downward facing dog right where I want it. And I'm just pressing the heels again to stretch out the calves. Right, when you think of a tree, you think of their roots as being really sturdy. But trees sway in the wind. You know, we want our root system to be grounded, but we also want it to have a little give so we can go with the flow. We'll walk our feet up to our hands. We're going to come into a forward fold. We'll inhale up a halfway lift, putting length in our spine. Take a big exhale, and we might just sway. You can let your arms hang, or you can grab your elbows, but do try and shake out your head. Knees are soft. We're bringing the stretch into our hamstrings and into our lower back. The softer the knees, the more focus on the lower back. Shaking out the head. Let's drop our hands. We're going to roll up nice and slow to stand, with our head coming up last. And take a little roll through our shoulders. So your feet are about hip distance apart. They're really steady. We're going to kind of pull a little bit from a moon salutation here, which are very grounded. We consider them to be kind of cooling and yin-y. So we're inhale, sweeping our hands up, nice big reach. Exhaling over to the left, and we're opening up our right side body. And then we'll really ground through our right foot. Our hip is over our heel, so it's all from the side. Nice big reach, look up to the ceiling. Inhale, float yourself up. And next exhale, we're going to reach off to the right, opening up left, and really dropping into the left foot. Feel yourself growing roots here. Feel the way the foot connects to the mat. A little turn up to the ceiling. So let's inhale, float our way back up. Here's the tricky part. We're going to take our right leg. We're going to step it out long. So now we're facing the long side of our mat. Our knees are going to track over our ankles and our toes are turned out. And we're just going to kind of sit. This is called our horse or our goddess squat. We haven't warmed up our inner hips so much. So if you're not sitting terribly low, don't worry about it. We're just starting to invite the space here. We'll bring our arms up like goalposts, gently draw our shoulder blades together, lift our chin up just a touch. We're going to open our arms, point both sets of toes forward, open up our chest, a nice 5-pointed star. Shoulder blades draw together, chin lifts up ever so slightly, opening the front of the body. Hands to the hips. Leading with the heart, we're going to exhale, take a nice big hinge. through our halfway lift, and now we're back in a forward fold with this nice wide base. So feel your feet connect in. Knees get a little bit soft, a lot of stability so you can get comfortable shaking out your head. Right? That's kind of the idea in a grounding flow. We are coming into our body. We're finding this balance and stability so that when we do come back to those thoughts that may have left us feeling a little less grounded, we're better prepared to deal with them. We're no longer stuck in them. We're giving ourselves time to refresh. So walk your hands all the way over to your right foot. You're going to feel the stretch shift a little deeply into the right leg, and then you're just going to bend into your right knee. And as you do, your left toes are going to lift. This is our Skandasana. If your right heel lifts up like mine did, don't worry about it. Your hands could be here, helping you find length in your spine. Or if you're feeling quite balanced, grounded already, hands might come up to the heart. And how does that feel in the hamstring, the adductor area? And keep a little softness in your knee, no hyperextending. And take our hands down, pick our seat back up, and take a nice big hinge. And then walk our way over to the left. We're taking a moment here to pause to really feel this in our left leg. And then we'll sink into our knee. Let our right toes lift. We're on our right heel, right knee soft. Again, if that heel picks up, don't worry about it. Hands could be on the mat if that gives you stability. Or if you're feeling quite grounded already, hands up. And come on through center. Back to our nice straddle. We'll take a big hinge. Let our heads hang. Ground the left hand. Inhale, breathe the right hand up and have a look up at your thumb. A little rinse for the spine. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, left hand up. We'll do that 2 more each side. Once again, trying to connect breath to movement. Let the breath guide the body. Let that become your sole focus. One more. We'll exhale. Bring our hands to our hips. We're going to use our strong back and our breath to inhale up to a half lift. We'll stay for the exhale. We'll inhale the rest of the way up. We're going to turn our heels under our knees, come back into that horse or goddess squat. We're getting low to the ground, grounded, open hips. I'm going to take the right foot like we did, step it up to meet the left. Inhale, sweep our hands up overhead. Exhale, fold on down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, big hinge. Inhale, sweep your hands up overhead. Reach, soften your shoulders away from your ears. So we found a lot of good space in our feet and our legs. Let's put it to the test. So really grounding into our right foot. And picking up left heel, feeling where the right foot connects. And then inhaling the left leg up all the way into a standing pose. Knee in line with hip. Core is engaged. See if you can't kick your foot out in front. Just a little core work, a little balance work. Does the right leg, even with the little sways, hold you steady? Doesn't matter if you fall out 1,000,000 times. Every time you get back in, you're building stability. So big inhale. Slowly we'll step our foot back. We'll land on the ball of our left foot, and we're in a nice tall lunge. Knees stacked on top of ankle. Exhale your hands to the heart. Inhale your chest forward, hook the left elbow, get a nice rinse for the lower back. Press through the palms. Now again, this class is about grounded stability. If you need to set your knee down to access this pose, go for it. It's whatever makes you feel safe, in control, stable. But a nice big rinse. We'll inhale our hands up. Come on down, frame our foot, step our right foot back. Find our downward facing dog. Take some wonderfully big pedals. And we'll exhale, come up to the top of our mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, big fold. Inhale, sweep hands up overhead, nice big reach. So now we are shifting into our left foot. You see my right heel just kind of pick up as I find the balance in my left. We inhale our right knee in line with our hip, core starts firing up, all in that center of gravity. Foot's grounded, we kick out. And we're kind of purposely trying to throw ourselves off of our balance. And you take those little micro connections in your left leg as you become steady. Bend the knee, slowly step back, landing on the ball of your foot. Hands to the heart. We're going to inhale forward and hook. Right elbow. Don't forget, you can always set the knee down. We want to gently challenge ourselves, but ultimately we want to find the stability within ourselves. We want to feel grounded and connected, safe to explore our bodies and our thoughts. So you can kind of free the feelings, the tension that keeps us from being present. So let's come on out. Back up to that nice tall lunge. Big inhale. Frame the foot. Step back. To our downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Come to the front. Half lift. Forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands overhead. Exhale through heart center. All right. One more balanced pose. Another rock on the right foot. Right knee soft. See if you can inhale left up. Open it. Maybe you connect it at the inner thigh, the shin, or all the way down at the ankle. Depends on what's going to work for you, where you feel the most stable. But tree pose. So our right foot is grounded, our right knee is soft, our core is engaged, and if it feels good to you, you can grow branches or keep hands at heart center. And then lock your gaze in at a non-moving point. Feel like that point against your floor or your wall is just holding you in place. All right, we feel those little micro connections, corrections, I should say. We might get the wobbles, we might even come out, but we come back in, we grow in our ability to find balance, softening our shoulders, softening our knee, knowing that tension isn't going to give us support, an ability to let go of expectations is going to anchor us much more. Big inhale, exhale it down, step it out. Remember our hero's pose, maybe a little stretch at the top of the foot, shake out of the ankle, and then it's a good grounded left. Right leg inhales up. We're opening it off to the side and we're deciding where we want to place the foot. That doesn't matter. We avoid our knee usually. It's about finding what's stable for you. Even if you're at your ankle, you're going to grow over time. Core is engaged because that's our center of gravity. Hands at heart or overhead. Shoulders, jaw soft. Gaze at that non-moving point. Your ability to balance says a lot about what's going on in your brain. When our brains are busy, we're probably not going to feel the most balanced, and it's going to show up physically. But if we can lock into the moment, lock into ourselves, it's when we're really going to build up the strength, our resolve to come back. Big inhale. Exhale, come on down, step it out, shake it out. Tops of feet. All right. Checking in with our ankles. We're going to inhale, sweep our hands up. Exhale to our toes. We're going to inhale, half lift. Exhale right back to our toes with a nice soft knee. You can even grab your toes if that's accessible, or grab onto the heels. Or just come back to holding your arms but shaking out the head. And then we'll bend into our knees. Step back into table. Swing on to our seat. Take our legs out from underneath. Our sit bones are anchored. Our legs are out long. Our knees are soft. We'll breathe our hands up. This is our Dandasana, or staff pose, lifted spine. Big inhale, exhale, hinge forward. I took a lot of standing forward fold. Same thing you might feel, especially as your spine lengthens out, that good stretch in your lower back. We're releasing our roots, which work so hard to keep us balanced. Inhale, length. Exhale, big hinge. Let's inhale, float back up to Dandasana. Using a little bit of core, we're going to come to our backs, sort of looking at our toes the whole way down. When we land, we'll reach our hands overhead, take a big stretch. Big reach, pointing toes, pointing fingers. We're going to take one of my favorites. Your hips are here, it's anchored in the center. Both sets of toes, both sets of fingers are reaching to the left-hand corners of your mat. This is our banana asana, and you can see it looks like a crescent moon. We took partial moon salutation in standing. We associate that with yin energy, which is passive, and as we said, you kind of need this ability to go with the flow, to balance. It sounds counterintuitive, but when we're really rigid, we're really set in our expectations, is likely when we're going to be blown the most off course. And there's a little flexibility, a little give. Things might not be as expected, but we can usually find our footing a little easier if we expect the unexpected. So let's inhale our way to center, nice big reach. And then it's fingers and toes to the right, that wonderfully spacious side body. We're making all these wonderful connections to the floor, to the mat, maybe feeling where you land, feeling supported. Nice big reach and stretch. And then we'll inhale, center, bend our knees, plant our feet, windshield wiper, and just a bit of space into our hips so there's no gripping or holding. We plant our feet. We'll place our right ankle against our left knee, and we'll pull that figure forward towards us for our supported pigeon, reclined pigeon. Feel all the contact your back makes against the mat, connected. Feel the space in your hip, a nice big release. You might even sigh out, promoting bigger release into the mat. Maybe putting a little bit of distance between you and any thoughts and feelings that keep you from being present and grounded. Always giving ourselves space to assess with a, clearer mind, a more objective mind. take your figure four, just gently set it off to the left if it feels safe to do so. It's a big lower back hip stretch. If you say, no way, just drop your right knee on top. Keep it a little more simple. You can open your arms, look to the right, but a nice balancing twist to rinse it all out. Yeah, I'm never saying just forget about your thoughts and your feelings, or compartmentalize them and never come back. Give yourself space to reset so that you're always reassessing or assessing with a fresh mind. Head center, leg center, unwrap them. Plant your feet, couple windshield wipers to rinse the hips. We'll take left ankle, put it on the right knee. We'll bring our figure four towards our chest. Relax. Every exhale, bring shoulders to the mat. And freeing up anything that's gripping or holding, so we can be a little bit more flexible, so we can see the other side of things. Right, because that's eventually how we make peace and let go of the things that keep us from being grounded. So it's a big inhale, exhale, setting that figure four off to the right. And we're just letting it fall. You can see my right leg is still in that right angle shape, my left foot planted, or you could say, nope, I'm just gonna set my knee on top. That's gonna feel better for my body. I like to open my arms just because it anchors my shoulders, and look opposite direction to give the neck a little stretch. And then we'll begin taking our head center, our legs, we unwrap them in the process, rinse things out. We'll give our knees a little tuck in, sort of rock and roll along our spines. We might really bring our forehead to our knees, and then we release into Savasana. I invite you to stay here as long as you need, though I will be cueing us out of it if you have to get on your way. But take a moment. We talked about body sensing being a really good way to ground, to find present. So you feel where your heels, your calves, your seat, where they connect to the ground below you. Your arms, your shoulders, the back of your head. You might inhale, get really expansive in your breath, and then as you exhale, sink into these connected places. Feel a sense of surrender. I don't have to feel any way I don't want to feel. Everything is mine to let go of. I just need to find the tools to bring me into the moment so I can give myself that space, that grounded connection. If you're in a good place, stay where you're at, stay as long as you need. But if you want to inhale and bring some movements into your fingers and your toes with me, roll out your wrists, your ankles, maybe take a full body stretch. And then we'll turn ourselves over to the right, take a little pause. Come up to seated. And I will say, as always, thank you so much for sharing the practice with me. And if you like what I'm doing here, please hit the subscribe button. It helps so much. Thank you.